Hello my students of the ninth grade. Here today inshallah we are going to start with the second section of module 5. So here everyone please go to students book page number 54. Students book page number 54. As you see here we have this title, the Red Crescent. And if you look here to this logo you may know what's the meaning of the Red Crescent. What is the Red Crescent? Look here at this logo, and it is known as an Islamic logo or represents the Islam. It is the Red Crescent, and the Red Crescent is a federation. Federations means a union or organization concerns with helping people in danger. To help people in danger. Here we are going to illustrate some new vocabulary items that we are going to read and discuss the meaning. Aid, ambulance, and it is very mistaken that most people, or it is very common that most people pronounce it as ambulance. No, it is ambulance. Disaster, medic, neutrality, suffering, volunteer. Now here we have a list of sentences that show the meaning of each word through the context. Now number one, aid should be given to anyone who needs aid, with the meaning of help should be given to anyone needed. We need to help everyone. Number two, look, the ambulance is parked right outside the hospital. So the ambulance is a kind of vehicle which carry or transfer sick people or injured people. Ambulance. And nowadays we can see a lot of ambulances all over the streets. 3. The volcano was a huge disaster. So volcano is a disaster. It destroyed thousands of trees, and disaster is a dangerous event which cause a lot of damage. Disaster بمعنى كارثة. 4. If those states were better at communicating, they could be a federation. Federation means union بمعنى اتحاد, like the International Federation of Football, الاتحاد العالمي لكرة القدم, or the Jordanian Federation of Football, الاتحاد الأردني لكرة القدم. 5. The soldiers were always happy to see the medic healing them. Medic. They are a kind of soldiers who try to help people or sick people or injured people. Medic. مسعفين. Switzerland is famous for its neutrality. It doesn't choose a side. So it is neither with this nor with that. We call this as neutrality. And Switzerland is very famous for neutrality, which is al-hiyadiyya. The Red Crescent is available so that no one is left suffering. They help anyone who is hurt or in need of medical attention. Suffering, we can say suffering of hunger, suffering of sickness, suffering of starvation, suffering of war, suffering, experience a tragedy life. Al-mu'ana. 8. A volunteer is a very kind to give up their time and money to help others. Volunteer, a person who do some work without a pay of money for free. A volunteer بمعنى متطوع. Here we have to complete the sentences with the correct words from these words that we have discussed in the previous slide. Earthquake is a which cause a lot of damage. Earthquake, and we know earthquake is الهزة الأرضية, so it is disaster, is a disaster which causes a lot of damage. Number 2, the carried the injured man to the hospital. Who can carry the injured man or wounded man? So it is the ambulance carried the injured man. 3. My friend helps people in need. He is a good. Who can help the people? He is a good volunteer. 4. I am in a big trouble, so I need some help. So which one of these words that can give the meaning of help? It is aid. Aid. 5. FIFA, we know FIFA, is the football international. As we said, the football international federation. Federation. It means union. 6. Are soldiers who give first aid. First aid بمعنى الإسعافات الأولية to injured and sick people. So the answer here should be medics. Medics. Now we are going to start with the article about the Red Crescent, and we have explained and defined the Red Crescent before in the first slide. The Red Crescent, it is the organization which concerns with helping people in need or people in danger. Here we have are divided the articles into 3 paragraphs, and here we have the first paragraph, الفقرة الأولى. And I put here a list of questions that we are going to answer through the text. Number 1. What did the soldiers mark their ambulance with? The answer is they marked their ambulances with Red Cross. Red Cross, which is other sign that people used to use it in their ambulances or to mark their ambulances. We have the Red Crescent for Muslim countries and the Red Cross for Christian. الدول المسيحية بيستعملوا Red Cross اللي هو الصليب الأحمر. 2. What did the cross remind the Ottoman Empire of? The answer is the cross reminded him of a previous war. This is wrong. War against soldiers carrying a similar flag. Yes, it reminded him of a previous بمعنى السابق war against soldiers carrying similar flag. 3. What did the empire use instead of the Red Cross? بدل Red Cross, yes, he used the Red Crescents. He used the Red Crescents instead of the Red Cross. When was the Red Crescent adapted formally? Adapted بمعنى اعتماده formally بشكل رسمي. Yes, in 1929. It was adapted formally in 1929. Find out from the text, and this is a common or a usual questions that I put for my students, and you know or you are very familiar with this question. Find A. Soldiers who help injured people. Who are the soldiers? What kind of people or what kind of soldiers who help the injured people? Yes, it is medics. Conjunction, and we have discussed and explained the conjunctions before. However, past verb, we have a lot of past verbs here, either regular or irregular. So here we have used and reminded. Quantity word, as we have discussed and explained the previous structure and the grammar, the quantity words, if you remember them. And here we have some is a quantity word. Now go to paragraph number 2, and here also we have a list of questions. Number 1, what is the Red Crescent part of? What is it part of? It is part of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescents. The International Federation, that means the International Union, الاتحاد العالمي of Red Cross and Red Crescent. 2. How many members are there in the International Federation's members? أعضاء 97 million members. There are 97 million members in the International Federation. 3. How many national society? National society يعني جمعية محلية أو جمعية وطنية. In the Federation, 187 national societies. National, it is the opposite of international. International عالمي, national محلي أو وطني. Find from the text. Adjective, yes, here we have an adjective which is huge. People who work without a pay of money, that means for free. Who are those people who work without money? They are volunteers. Union of 2 or more organizations. Union بمعنى اتحاد. Yes, and we have discussed this international federations, and here the answer is federation. Federation. In paragraph number 3, yes, here also I have put some questions. Question number 1, why is the Red Crescent very important? And this is very important question. So here, why is the Red Crescent very important? It is very important in responding to disasters. responding بمعنى الاستجابة للكوارث disasters such as earthquakes and fires, as well as providing aid, providing help to developing countries, the third world countries, دول العالم الثالث or الدول النامية بنسميها developing countries. 2. What is the key principle? Key principle of the Red Crescent mean the main goal, الهدف الرئيسي أو المبدأ الرئيسي. The key principle of the organization is neutrality. Neutrality, neither with this nor with that. In question number 3, put the words which describe the following phrases. Look here in the box, we have nationality, race, religion, and gender. And here I put some phrases in the table. The first is black skin or white skin. That means we say he is a black man or a white man. So this is race, بمعنى العرق. Here, Jordanian, Palestinians, or either Syrian or Russian or American, and we call this nationality. Here, in the third column, we have man or woman. That means male or female, ذكر أو أنثى, and we call this gender. And the third column, we have Muslims, Christians, or Jewish. Muslims, like us, we are Muslims. Christians, like the people who live in America and in Europe, they are Christians. And Jewish people who live in the capturing country Israel. So here it is the correct answer, religion. Find from the text two linking words. I want you to find two linking words. Here we have the first linking words, such as, and also we have as well as. Such as and as well as. In exercise number 4 here in your student's book, I want you to go to your student's book, page number 54, and look at exercise number 4. So what do these relative pronouns refer to? Here we have who in line number 1. So if you go to the article or the text again, line number 1, you can see who. It refers to soldiers, ambulances, or medics. And here, as we know, that who refers usually to people. So here to medics. That on line number 10, line it refers to organization. And that in line number 12, also here traditions, organizations, or guidelines. So it refers to guidelines. Thank you for watching, my students. This is your English teacher, Rami Alewa. See you soon, inshallah.